Hello, and welcome to Econ Lowdown. If you're a Planet Money fan, or if you'd like to find free resources for your students, please stay tuned. I'm Eva Johnston, and I taught in the Rockwood School District for 28 years before joining the St. Louis Fed Economic Education team. Please email me your questions. Since I do work for the Fed, I have to give you the standard Fed disclaimer. The views I share today are mine alone, and they don't necessarily represent the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis or the Federal Reserve System. What I can tell you, though, is that Congress provided the Federal Reserve System with a mandate to promote stable prices, maximum employment, and sustainable growth. Today, I'm going to walk you through as an example of how to assign Planet Money podcasts to your students. We have modules and videos available as well. Also, there are tutorials available if you want any step-by-step, and here's the email to get there. Here's our homepage, and it's a gateway to both print and online resources. If you go to the teacher portal right here, that is how you access Econ Lowdown. It's our free LMS Lite. Speaking of learning management systems, if any of you are using Canvas, we've successfully linked over 70 school districts across the country with Canvas. If you use Econ Lowdown, it will integrate with your classrooms and your gradebook just like any other add-on. So please email us if you'd like to do that. Now let's go to that teacher portal, and here is what Econ Lowdown looks like when in the open view. There are some resources that you can see publicly viewed without being logged in. But if you would like to assign them to your students, you must create a free teacher account, and you do so right here by logging in. Or if you already have one, just type in your email and you're good to go. If you're new, it's as simple as typing in your name, your email address, selecting the type of school you are, and that you're not a robot. Do this to register, and then in a couple of minutes, you should get your registration and you'll be logged in just like me. You get a chance to change your password, and if you don't find it, please check your spam folder. Now let's look. Your name will be here instead of mine by the welcome. We do have FAQ in case you have questions. And I do want to note that we don't save people's private emails and we don't spam you with all kinds of information. We only email when people email us. Now, real quickly, what do you find across the banner? This little greenhouse is not part of Monopoly, but instead it is where you go to get back to this homepage. Next, My Classrooms is where you go to find your active and your archive classrooms that you've already created, and it's also where we go to create your new classroom. The Resource Gallery is, as you guessed it, where you find all of the things that you can assign to your students. Professional development, we'll save that for another day. The classroom activities, that takes you back to the page we were just on, the St. Louis Fed Economic Education page that has all those print resources as well as having access to the online materials. We'll save Fredcast for another day too. So let's move forward and go to My Classrooms and create one. Today, I took the liberty of going ahead and creating a classroom for MCSS Fall Conference, February 19th. And I would like to point out that when you create your classroom, you want to be as specific as possible. Put the class period, put in the title of the class, the semester, and the year. This is especially useful if you have more than one section of the same class. Then you want to put down the date you'd like for your students to start. There's a little calendar thing that will pop down and you just click on the date and the date you'd like your class to end. After you've done this, you're ready to create your classroom. What's a classroom without students? So we have a couple of ways that you can add your students to the classroom. If you're a Google school or your students have Gmails, then a very simple way is to use our Google single sign-in. And that means that you click that and it gives you a code of a few letters, and you just share that code with your students, and then they will automatically be populated into your class. Another way is that you can upload a CSV file with your students' information, and we only keep their first name and their last initial. That's it. Or you can just manually type in their first name and last initial, whatever works best for you. There are tutorials that'll assist you in doing that. Now that we have our classroom and you have students, next we have to give them something to do. So that's why we go to the resource gallery. And it's right here. You click on resources. And once you do that, it takes you to our resource gallery. And as you can see, we have over 400 resources available that you could assign to your students. It's kind of like shopping in a big box store. So you might want to think, I don't want to look at everything. You can use our search. We now have a new search feature up here. And so you can type in, if you know specifically what you're looking for, a topic or whatever, you can type it in and it will narrow it down for you. We also have filters. We have different types of resources. We have podcasts, we have videos, we have readings that have questions and answers with them. We have many things for you that your students can do. And so you can select the type if you'd like. You can go by subject, the topic. We have different groups. The grade level can be important for you. We do have some resources in Spanish, and this will, of course, tell you how long. So I've typed in Planet Money because that's what I'm using as an example today. And when I do that, it narrows it down to all the Planet Money podcasts that we have available right now. If we look right here, you can see that currently we have 14 available, and you can preview those by clicking on the little magnifying glass in the preview. When you do so, it lets you see what your students would see. And here, you can find that if you would click right here on that little arrow, it would let you listen to the podcast. And if we look here closely, you can see that the podcast will last 3 minutes and 55 seconds. If your students would like, they can listen again. And this is how they get to the quiz. And it's multiple choice and it's auto-graded. Now the details for you. So is this the right podcast? Is this the one that fits the curriculum that you're currently teaching? Well, let's make it bigger. All right. You can see that by reading the summary. Also, you can tell that, yeah, it's a podcast. You can see by the little headset. It should take your students approximately 10 minutes to complete listening and answering the questions. It is appropriate for high school and college students. It has also been assigned to 4 classes this past week. You can also get to the transcript if you want to read word for word everything that's in the podcast. The standards are listed, and of course, we have additional resources should you want to find other things about this topic. Now, how do you get that in your classroom? Well, you simply click on that little blue circle with the plus, and when you do, it's going to gray out a little bit and you'll get the pink arrow. That's not it, though. You have to go ahead and push the button to add it to your syllabus. Once that is done, you'll go back and you'll get this screen and it'll show your syllabus, and you can see, aha, yes, it's here, but it won't be visible to your students unless you publish. Now, we have ways to verify that you have published it, all right? I did click publish, but you can tell because it's grayed out, and you can also tell because right here at the bottom, it's going to say it's successfully been published. So anytime you want to make a change, whether it's to add more resources, to change the dates, to add some custom content that you want to type a note to your students, you must publish every time or your students won't be able to see them. Now, to see if your students have actually started the work, you might have more things assigned. And if you do, and you want to see one in particular, you go to your syllabus and you click on that particular topic, all right? And then when you do, you can select that you want to see the student progress, all right? And when you say you want to see student progress, then it will show you, here's my hypothetical students. Now, it will show you how many times they've listened to the podcast, how many times they have attempted the quiz, what the points they got correct, and their percent score. Also, it tells you when they completed it. So all this is, incredibly useful for you to find out how they're doing on this particular assignment. Today, I showed you how you can shop in our resource gallery. I want to note that all the resources available are free of charge. They are all aligned to national standards. They do provide tracking of student progress, and all those modules have pre and post tests. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. But please know that I thank you for watching, and most of all, I thank you for teaching your students social studies. Take care and be safe.